You are in the free speech zone. No safe spaces allowed. Nightcaps with Nate.
Coming to you live from just outside the swamp of the nation's capital. Get ready for invigorating talk, commentary, and debate on the issues affecting your life. Grab your favorite drink. It's Nightcaps with Nate. Now, here's Nate.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It is Nightcaps with Nate. We are almost back to normal now. We have our regular Thursday host, Kareem Jackson, on. Kareem, what's up?
What's going on, brother? What's going on? It's been kind of quiet lately.
Quiet. There's nothing but quiet. Owner of Hood Samaritan. Go to hoodsamaritan.com, or is it hood-samaritan.com? I remember.
Hood-Samaritan.
Hood-samaritan.com. He is a Second Amendment supporter, conservative, and a veteran, and also a very good friend of mine. He's not sponsoring the show, but he is our official clothing, mask, and headgear for the Nightcaps with Nate show. So, and he's also an awesome co-host every Thursday. So very happy to have him on with us tonight. In the lower right-hand corner, we are monitoring the. It was.
Hey man, you in a good mood tonight. That vacation must be sounding good to you.
It sounded really good to me, buddy. Sounding really good to me.
Yeah.
So we did have in the lower corner, we did have the protest going on in the lower right corner. Let me see. That way we can kind of keep an eye on it. Right now it looks like this is a replay of earlier today, the Peace March to Demand Justice down in Hollywood. And we will just keep an eye on anything that's going on. Obviously not a lot going on because there's not a lot of live videos going on. And typically that's what we would have, is a lot of live videos going on. But hey, if you have not liked or subscribed to Nightcaps and Nate page, then please do. And like I said, we will continue to monitor these protests that are going on. Hopefully they stay as protests. Of course, there are differences between protests and rioting, and we are hoping for the protests because we do want change. As they used to say, power to the people. Power to the people is partly massing out and exercising their right to protest, because you have that right to do that regardless of what anybody says, regardless of what any police officer says. You have the right to go out and peacefully demonstrate and make your cause known, and that's what we want. We want change here in America. So if you want to call in, you could call in and be a part of the show. Phone number is 443-247-5309, 443-247-5309. And you can join in. Just make sure that you stay on mute and listen to the producer Whitley, her recorded voice. So tonight we have a lot to talk about, and we are going to get right into it. I made a mistake the other night. The other day I posted on my Facebook that Trump was silent, and he wasn't. And a lot of people called me out on it. He's more silent than what I think he should have been. I think that every day that the protests are going on, he should have been out. And presidents, they get that special access to all the networks where he can have a live address at 8 p.m. or whatever, and he's sitting in that one room, and he can have that live address. And I think that that's what he should have done. He did, however, in all fairness, did come out, and he did say something right after the George Floyd thing. And he said, quote, "Our nation's deepest condolences and heartfelt sympathies to the family of George Floyd." Trump told reporters during a roundtable, "I understand the hurt. I understand the pain. People have really been through a lot. The family of George is entitled to justice. The people of Minnesota are entitled to safety." The president said, adding that he asked the DOJ to expedite his probe. I do remember him saying that. Just for proof, I am going to go ahead and play this soundbite real quick. Play it.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. I want to express our nation's deepest condolences and most heartfelt sympathies to the family of George Floyd. A terrible event, terrible, terrible thing that happened. I've asked that the Department of Justice expedite the federal investigation into his death and do it immediately, do it as quickly as absolutely possible. It's a local situation, but we're also making it into a federal situation, and it's a terrible thing.
So that's the start of it. He did come out and he did say, hey, it's a local situation, but we're going to make it a federal situation, which he didn't have to do. But he's got the Department of Justice on there. What that does is it ensures that if the state can't prosecute them or they get found not guilty, the federal still has one more shot at it. That's what happened during the Rodney King thing. The state charges fell through. They were found not guilty, so the feds came in, they prosecuted, and that, because there's no double jeopardy when you have state and federal. It's two different, they call it co-sovereignty, so I don't always agree with it, but when the federal government is a different sovereign government than the state government, so they are allowed to charge you for similar crimes. Same way that in the military, we can be found guilty of a state crime and the military crime, even though it's the same thing. So that was my bad. He did come out. I do think, however, that Mr. Trump needs to chill out a little bit on some of his tweets. I think when he's going after media, good to go, because the media is a bias machine. But when it comes to anything else, I think, if they cross the threshold, I have the most vicious dogs and the most ominous weapons at our disposal, and we're going to take care of you, blah, 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 blah. I don't think that helps any cause, and it makes you sound like a fifth grade kindergartner or something like, my daddy's got bigger guns than you do. You know, it's stupid. So I just want to put that out there. Kareem, what do you think, man?
Well, I need you to liven up a little bit, man. Liven up a little bit. This your last show right before vacation.
It is, yeah.
So I need you to liven up a little bit. I know you've been burning it hard. We've been going about 3 months straight. No rest, no sleep. So
yeah, and I admit I'm a little tired. I mean, last night I think it showed more than anything. I was tired, man. I was exhausted last night after the show.
Yeah. I mean, it takes a lot to come on here and not just do the show, but just the emotions and the energy in the air with everything that's been going on. So that'll pay a toll on you. So
I promise you, I'll be happy the rest of the night.
Yeah.
How's
all
that?
right. We appreciate you though. But remember, like Michael Jordan said, you have to perform every night because it might be somebody tuning in and never seen you before.
That's right.
And they deserve that energy. But anyway,
right.
All right.
Man, I want to give a shout out to my wife, Whitley. She is my best friend, and she is also the producer of my show. Of course, as married people, we don't always get along, but shoot, she's a good woman. And I got you, my friend. We've had our differences back in the day, just on recruiting matters, no big deal. But at the same time, we've always been that. And even my sister, who's no longer, I think, going to be on the show, I think she's tired of being the outnumbered guest. But I know she has a tough job as well. And everybody who's made this thing, and plus my fans. That includes Kathleen, Amber, Samantha, Dave, Laura, a lot of people that are on every single night. In fact, we got comments. If you want to comment, go to Nightcaps and Nate. I know a lot of people are watching on their watch party. But if you want to actually comment, go ahead, go to the Nightcaps and Nate. It's not going to be exactly a positive show because it's news, and news a lot of times is negative. I promise you that if we get through 2020, this is going to be a fun show because the news has just been really shitty this year. It's just been a bad time to start a show, I guess. But we are going to get through it with some laughter and stuff. So let's see what's next on our agenda here. This is crazy. Okay, so if you don't think...
Let's go, baby.
Let's do it. So remember, there are 4 lawyers that got caught throwing Molotov cocktails at police, and one actually went inside a police van with 4 police officers. Thank God it didn't explode and go up everywhere. But come to find out, there were 4 lawyers. So this other lawyer that used to work for President Obama, an ex-analyst under Obama, guarantees bail for alleged bomb-throwing lawyer. Salma Rizvi, an NYU law grad who now works for the prestigious D.C. firm Ropes and Gray, helped secure the release of fellow lawyer Aruj Rahman by agreeing to be a surrogate for her bail during a bail hearing in Brooklyn federal court. She says, Aruj Rahman is my best friend, and I am an associate at the law firm Ropes and Gray in Washington, D.C. I earn $255,000 a year. She told the judge who sprang Rahman over the prosecutor's objection. Look, that's a heinous crime, and that just goes to show you how far the left has gone. Now, I want everybody to imagine, put on their little thinking caps, okay? Just like in kindergarten, put on your thinking caps. Imagine if, let's say, it was a white supremacist march out there, God forbid, and they were throwing Molotov cocktails in a black church, and some ex-analysts under the Trump administration had guaranteed bail for them, saying, hey, that's my best friend and all that. I have a feeling that the media would be all over this like brown on rice.
Yeah. But you got to understand, this is like, this situation we deal with right now is on the level of like some civil rights stuff. So it ain't really
So
about,
what part of civil rights is bombing out the NYPD's van?
man.
Come on, man.
No,
Even
I'm
I'm
not.
all
I'm not.
I'm all about civil rights. I'm all
Yeah.
about taking a knee if you want to, and we'll get on that
Yeah.
a little bit later because Drew Brees is being canceled for it. For his own opinion, saying, "Hey, everybody has the right to do what they want." I personally stand for the flag, and he's getting thing.
Yeah.
We'll go on that a little bit. Civil rights is marching. Civil rights is what you see on the screen right now, where people are speaking out. Okay, and this is Minneapolis, as you can see, big Somali contingent in Minneapolis. That's why you see here. But Los Angeles down there, you can see they're out there protesting, making a difference. That's civil rights marching. Hell, tearing down a lamppost, which I totally disagree with. But if you're gonna tear something down, you tear down a Confederate statue or lamppost or something. Bombing out any vehicle with 4 people in it, especially law enforcement that are just doing their job, is
Yeah.
not civil rights, brother.
Yeah. I got you, but I'm just speaking not necessarily from my perspective, but on perspective of media, and that's what sells. What those type of actions sell, and the popular thing to do, which is, I could say growth, I could say strange in this country right now, is to be in line with the minority African American movement right now.
Of course. And
Yeah,
it should
so
be. But
I just hope it's sincere and not
if I
just
was in
a
charge of
fad.
if I was, let's say there was one leader like MLK back in the day, I would disavow immediately anybody throwing Molotov cocktails. Even back then, even when, and we got to admit, this is not the same police as 1968. They had it much worse back in the day. There it was openly known that they would take out any black person for no reason and just beat the hell out of them.
Yeah.
Now they're doing stuff, but it's usually in a fair interaction. Not saying it's okay, but I would disavow even back then. Malcolm X would probably be proud of it because he was more the aggressor. Hey, they're not listening to us type of deal. But MLK would be turning in his grave right now, knowing that some, I don't know if she's white or whatever she is, probably Middle Eastern or something, Rouge Rahman, is throwing Molotov cocktails on behalf of the civil rights movement. Going back to what I was saying about Trump, Kathleen says, yes, for the love of God, leave Twitter alone. Someone needs to check for a secret compartments with other phones of the White House. I think that's hilarious. Chris Duty, check your message, bro. Sorry, Chris, I can't check while I'm live because it would look very awkward, but I would love to. If you have anything, go ahead, feel free to post it there. But I would disavow any of that nonsense. What you see on the screen, this is peaceful protesting. This is what the civil rights are all about. We listen to you. Believe me, every single mayor right now, every single governor, they will do anything right now to get you off the streets because it's making them look bad. And that's the point of protest. And that's a good thing.
Yeah,
That's
but the thing is,
social pressure.
But the thing is, I don't think it's nothing that could be offered right now that's going to stop this right now. And then the sad part about it will be, we still got to go to trial. And then once the trial starts, if it don't come out favorable, that's when you got to hold on to your seat.
And you know what, though? I'm going to play devil's advocate here. For the sake of our justice system, I hope it comes out the way it comes out. And yes, people might be pissed, but that is, when they say no justice, no peace, justice is having them before a jury of their peers.
Yeah, it is.
And so I don't see them getting off, but I could see where they might need to, or they might even plea it down because they don't want a drawn out thing.
Well, I see it more or less playing out like the main cop, the
Good
actual
cop, bad cop?
Yeah. Well, what's the actual cop? I've been so caught up in everything. I ain't even, what's his name?
Chauvin, yeah.
Chauvin. Okay, so I see it more or less playing out because they're already trying to paint the pictures that the other two guys had 6 months on the force, one had a year on the force, and the other guy was his partner. I see them turning them as witnesses against the prosecution, using them against the other cops.
Well, but that would only work if there was an actual conspiracy to do this. I don't think that I think this was done on the fly and not that way.
Yeah.
Kathleen says they don't convict these 4. There's going to be worse than what we're seeing now. I hope not. And that's another thing that they're saying. Is this the new normal? That every time something doesn't go somebody's way that we're going to burn down cities? I hope not. I'm down with the protests. Protests away. block traffic even, which I think is annoying, especially if I was in traffic. But, I hope that this is not the new normal. And I also hope that people that have dissenting views that are not causing trouble are not silenced in our free country too. And we're going to talk about that later. If for his example,
I hope it's not the new normal. I hope it's not the new normal, but we'll get after you go ahead and choose an example. I'll come back to that. I'm writing it down in my notes here.
Writing down your notes. New York Times changes headline following pressure from Democrats. First of all, that's problematic in my opinion. Okay, the New York Times is supposed to be the paper of record, but we all know that it's biased anyways. So the original New York Times thing said, this was on June 1st, said, as chaos spreads, Trump vows to end it now, which is an factual headline. Well, apparently AOC got mad. She says, you've got to be kidding me. New York Times headline writers are going to both sides this country to death, says Senator Brian Schatz, Democrat. Julian Castro said, the president is acting like a budding dictator. Headline fail at New York Times. So what did they do? They changed the headline to Trump threatens to send troops into states, which sounds more ominous and against Trump. I think that when we start pressuring even the newspapers to be politically correct, I think that's wrong because the original headline was absolutely correct. As chaos spread, Trump had vowed to end it now. That's exactly what he said. I vow to end it now. So why are we changing headlines because a bunch of Democrats come up there? And when has the New York Times or the Washington Post ever changed a headline because a Republican objected? Never. Okay? And you're starting to see this, and I was going to wait to the end, but since we brought it up so many times, Drew Brees was anointed as NBC's heir apparent to Chris Collinsworth. Will that still be the case? All because Drew Brees has a personal opinion that you should stand for the American flag. And that you should not go to one knee for the American flag no matter what the situation is. He said, quote, I'm not going to quote because I don't have the quote in front of me, but he said, and I paraphrase, Kaepernick had the right to do what he wanted. It is a free country. However, I personally choose to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. This guy's been so castigated by his own teammates now and the press that he actually had to go out and apologize, which I disagree with, because he was threatened to get canceled from his team as a starting quarterback. That is freaking wrong, and that is the problem with America now. We have a lot of Christian Republicans and a lot of Christian Democrats, especially black ones, that don't believe in gay marriage. Okay? That is their right. The law of the land is that gay marriage can take place. Nobody wants to stop that. But if they don't go, nowadays, if you have a big business and you don't put a rainbow flag up to actually celebrate something that you might not agree with, they'll boycott you. And Middle America is even getting on it. And that's wrong. What if you're a Catholic-owned business like Hobby Lobby and you decide, hey, I don't want to put a gay flag up. I allow gay people to work here because I don't want to discriminate. I believe in everybody's right to choose their own life. They can love who they want, have sex with whoever they want, but I don't have to actually celebrate that lifestyle by openly putting a flag out. And Brees does not have to actually come out and actually be okay with kneeling and still be allowed to participate with his teammates as, hey, man, that's your opinion. I've got my opinion. But since when did we start canceling everybody out because they have a different opinion? Go ahead, buddy.
Hey, it is such a sensitive time right now in the country. And you have to be careful of the words or the timing of your, and that's kind of contradictory of being American, right? Freedom of speech and all that. But
which is awesome.
But I mean, you have to use, I guess, like they teach us in the military, you have to use tact. You know what I'm saying? Even if you don't like somebody, you can't curse their ass out. You got to tactfully speak your mind.
Okay, in which way was he not being tactful, though?
I don't know what Drew Brees' comments is, and I have nothing against what I did hear some of it. He said that his grandfather or great-grandfather both served in like World War II or something like that. And when he sees the national anthem, he remembers them, or he's standing for them. So I have total respect for that. As a black man, I have nothing to. I'm not upset about that at all.
What happens when we? What happens when I stand for the flag? Or what happens if there's cops out there and they're asking them, please kneel, you know, take a knee. And maybe somebody doesn't want to take a knee. Does that mean that cop loses his job just because he decided not to take a knee? It's not their business. I mean, I believe in the Black Lives Matter, not the movement. I think the movement is the movement is good. The organization's not that great. We'll get into that another day when times chill out a little bit. But the idea behind it is great. Yes, black lives do matter, and we need police reform, and it's not just black, it's white, it's brown. A lot of people are dying at the hands. And so, what? We got a caller on. Let's check this caller. Caller, what's your name and where are you calling from? Looks like my hometown of Flint.
Nate, it's Tim Craig. How you doing, bro?
Hey, what's up, buddy? What's up?
Chilling. Hey, I called you because I tell you what, the outrage about Drew Brees getting himself in trouble with this whole situation is not because he had the belief, right? It's because 4 years ago he stood with the people who kneeled, and all of a sudden he comes out 4 years later in complete opposite spectrum of opinion, and then he switches back his opinion from 4 years ago.
Wait, tell me, he kneeled 4 years ago?
Yeah, it's a clip.
Yeah, 4 years ago he supported the kneelers and he stand lock to lock and kneeled and everything else.
So it's hypocrisy.
Exactly.
I get it. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I get it now. Yeah. But I still believe that Tim Craig, who is a buddy of mine from Flint, by the way, and African American,
yes, sir.
And I believe that Kareem on the line and myself, we still have the right to change our opinions. 5 years ago, I didn't believe climate change was real. Well, guess what? After the last 5 years of seeing no snow in West Virginia where I live, I'm like, maybe there's something to it, right? And that's called being a true American, not a Kool-Aid drinker. And I know you at the same time. You voted for Bush once or twice, but yet there's times when you're like, F Trump, he's an idiot, right? And that's okay. That's that's called a mature American. And so if Brees finally said, you know what, I kind of did it back then because I wanted to keep my starter job, but now that I'm getting closer to retirement, let me tell my truth. I think that it's hypocritical. I agree, but he still has the right to do it without losing his job.
I agree. And what he should have did was don't flip back the second time. Keep your actual opinion the second time and let it fall where it may, right?
Or maybe
don't double flip.
Maybe just like I talk about Trump. I love Trump's policies, but I hate his. Sometimes he just needs to shut the hell up. Maybe there's just not a good time. Maybe right now it's not a good time to express your belief on kneeling. Maybe he should have waited a few weeks until a little bit of this dies down, and then when a reporter asks, I believe in everybody's right to express their opinion the way they want. I personally stand for the flag from here on out.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree,
Good
bro.
job, Nate. Good job, Nate.
Thanks for having me, homie. I appreciate it.
Hey, brother. Love to see it. So that was an old friend of mine, Tim from Flint, Michigan. Thanks for calling. If you also want to call in, 443-247-5309. 443-247-5309. Let's take a quick look at what's going on in, it looks like, Los Angeles. Peaceful marching. Let me just go ahead and turn on some volume real quick. All right, and on the bottom right, you see Minneapolis. I think this was recorded earlier because this should be getting pretty dark in Minneapolis right now. Looks like it's dusk there. But everything seems to be peaceful the last few days, and that's exactly what we want to see. Peaceful protesting that results in change. No need to burn down mom and pop's business or kill security guards and police officers. No need for all that stuff. Liza says Drew Brees is a class act. Liza, I don't remember that. Okay, probably that. Gordy, my uncle says, and he's a buff of sports, the NFL will go under if they start kneeling. I agree. Kathleen says, leave Brees alone. I think she has a little crush there, Kevin. Watch out. He's a good man, and everyone has their own opinion. I will always stand for my flag, too. And she's a prior Marine. Good for her. All right, so.
Yeah, I ain't got no beef with Drew Brees. Like I say, but his timing probably.
Piss poor timing produces piss poor results. Is that what they said? Piss poor planning produces piss poor results.
Yeah. And maybe he thought people would be empathetic, because of his rationalization about why he stands. But I served this country a lot of years too, and if my kids play one day and they feel that they want to, 20 years from now, my son in the NFL and he wants to stand for the flag because his daddy served, and he want to honor me and not honor, what people perceive to be as a protest, then he should have that right.
He should have that right. But at the same time, sometimes maybe it's when you're a popular figure like that and you have a big drawing, maybe, just maybe, sometimes you might want to put that through a publicist. And that's why I wish Trump would do more often.
And the black community, man, everybody loves Drew Brees. People in New Orleans, he a god out there. He brought him a Super Bowl. They love Drew Brees. But I don't know about after this with everything that's going on right now in the country.
Well, if it was the right timing for it. Hey, speaking of timing, now this you can I don't know if you got a copy of what I was going to show today, but California dad wants cop fired for pointing a gun at his toddler son. It was one of those rubber guns. I agree. What an idiot cop during these times. However, it was a California dad's calling for the badge of a cop who was pictured aiming a weapon toward him and his 2-year-old son at a George Floyd protest. The officer in the photo, he should not be a cop at all. Dante Park says of the unnamed officer aiming the rubber bullet weapon at him, not his son. By the way, the kid looks like a girl, but it's not a girl. It's just he's got like the Snoop Dogg braids going on, right? In a cute little Batman suit, by the way. So there was another picture that I showed. I don't know if I showed it on the show, but the dude brought his daughter, or lady brought her daughter to a protest / riot march, and she got pepper sprayed, and and everybody was rightfully saying, why the hell? For two reasons. Why would you bring a 2 or 3-year-old or a toddler or even a kindergartner to something that's as volatile as one of these marches? For two reasons. One, it's dangerous. We know that shit could pop off at any time. Two, some things kids don't need to know about yet. There's a reason why we have Peppa Pig and Barney and stuff, and they talk about childhood appropriate things, right?
Excuse me.
Okay, my 5-year-old, 4-year-old, 3-year-old does not need to know about the injustice facing them at that age. Maybe that's a 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 middle school kind of conversation.
Yeah.
Now this kid is going to grow up with officer friendly. Instead of officer friendly, they're going to remember a cop pointing a gun at daddy while he's on his shoulders. And everybody's yelling, F the police. When do we want it changed now? And they're probably like, what? I thought police were the good guys, daddy. That's just my opinion.
It's not funny that you said that. My son, prior to all this going on, my son wanted to grow up. He loved law enforcement. The police gave him a sticker. He always used to say, I try to push him to be an athlete or something like that. But he said, Daddy, I'm going to be a police officer. I said, well, you're going to be an FBI agent. And he's 7 years old. Since this situation took place with all this stuff going on in the media with the police, he don't even want to go into law enforcement anymore. And I used to want to push him to be an FBI agent. So I still have to teach him that, hey, son, not all police are bad, not all police are racist.
It would be like you and I not going to the army because we saw what happened in Vietnam, the atrociousness of Vietnam. You know what? Look, we have to get out and do a better job teaching our kids. Hey, let's say there's 5% of 800,000. Yes, it's a lot of bad cops still out there, but most of them are good. And what we need more than anything are young, solid black and brown men and women to become police officers and police their own communities. The problem here, and I'll show you this again, this is Long Beach. We know Long Beach has a high minority population. Of all the police that you see on the screen right now, how many of them are black or brown? And that's the problem. We need more black and brown police officers, but if we are demonizing them, then they are not going to want to be that. And there is an appropriate time to talk about injustice in high school or late middle school. But at 2 or 3 years old, Chris Hayner says he should be a child endangerment charge, I believe, especially on the other one. Kathleen, I don't plan on having that talk with her son until he's about 10 or so. He's whiter than I am, even though he's got a black mother. So I think he's going to be just fine. Amber, my older kids kind of know what's going on, but they're, the 6, 7, 13, and 15, of course. They're going to see it. I've even talked to my daughters. My daughters are young. Oh, what's going on, Dad? I'm like, there was a bad cop, and he killed a person who they should have just taken into custody, and they did it the wrong way, and they killed him. And so people are upset because that happens too often sometimes in the inner cities where there's a high minority community. Boom. Oh, okay, Dad. Well, I hope they go to jail. Me too, sweetie. Go on. Right? But they know that overall, if they have a problem, they can call the police, and the police are more likely going to be on their side. That's the stupid thing about these defund police movements I've been seeing out there. Defund the police. Even my friend Derek, who's online, he's a super, super liberal black man, and his name is Derek Eady, and he was like, dude, defund police, that's the stupidest thing I ever heard. I agree. Who are you going to call if somebody's breaking into your house? Without the police, what we need is reform police, not... Oh, by the way, let me just show you this real quick on the screen. America, I'm not hating, but you know if your daughter's got a green mohawk, you raised her wrong, including my own, I'm sure. No, I'm just joking, Lily, if you're listening. I love you. But you know that they're going to turn out to be a liberal. All right, if they got a green mohawk and they're a female. All right, that was my own
Hey,
lyrics.
man.
I know, that's horrible.
Hey, man, I know, man. Hey, look. I love you, brother. Everything gonna be all right, man.
It is
We
going to be
good.
okay.
We good,
It
man.
is. It's going to be really good, and we're going to come out better for this. Hopefully, peaceful protesting. I'm
We
down
good.
with that.
Everybody gonna come out better. Law enforcement is gonna be better for the right reasons. They're gonna learn so much from this. Like I said, it's like a deployment for them. If they go back and AAR properly, they'll learn. Okay, well, shit.
Chris said that's profiling. I'm profiling.
The tactics that we use, when these type of things arise, we need to handle it like this, or else these type of things happen. But the country is gonna grow from this, man.
All right, so coming away from all this, the only thing I have with liberal women and liberals and period is I think they smell. I know that sounds horrible. I don't care if they're black, white, brown. If they're liberals, they smell funky. They either smell like the essential oils or like they ain't showered in 3 weeks. I live like on the Appalachian Trail, and people hike that from like Georgia all the way up to Maine, and they're usually like liberal guys with buns and stuff, and they ain't showered in weeks. And every time I get around, I'm like, oh shoot, a liberal. And I like hold. Have you ever been around a big fat person? You're like, man, they're gonna smell like pee or sweat. I know it sounds horrible. I'm probably gonna lose viewers tonight, which is fine. But you told me to be myself and be in a better mood. But when I see liberals, like if I walked up into all this right here, I know they're all out there for a good cause.
Yep. Appreciate you, G.
But I know them. Some of them stink. I bet they stink like I would like social distancing. That's just me. Yes, I'm profiling.
I haven't had that experience with liberals like that, and I got a pretty distinct nose, but I don't know.
Like Kathleen, she just said that's why you hate my essential oils at work. Here I thought it was because you were just grumpy. No, man, it reminds me of liberals. It smells like like when people. I always think of like liberals smell like either marijuana, which is sticky icky, or they feel good, but the icky sticky smells funky sometimes, right? Or like the incense that they burn when they're smoking their marijuana. Or they just smell like straight up ass and sweat because they don't shave and take care of themselves. They're nasty.
What is wrong, man? What is going on? We might have to take a break real quick, man, for 1 hour show and come back because I don't know, man. This has been a long week, huh?
All right. Let's stop for a second and breathe.
Where politics meets common sense. This is Nightcaps with Nate.
All right, we're back. Next topic. Hey, Florida State. The Florida State coaches. And look, man, if you're going to be woke, don't lie about it. Did you hear about this? Florida State players revolt against Mike Norvell after George Floyd lie. So, he says Mike Norvell has some explaining to do to his players. The Florida State football coach claimed to have spoken to each of his players individually, like as if he sat them down, talked about the George Floyd thing. But the Seminoles captain, Marvin Wilson, rebutted Norvell's claim and said he and his teammates will start boycotting workouts. He says, quote, man, this shit did not happen, man. The star defensive tackle tweeted, we got a generated text that was sent to everybody. There was no one-on-one talks between us and coach. This is a lie, and me and my teammates as a whole are outraged, and we will not be working out until further notice 100. Multiple Florida State players retweeted Wilson after he called out Norvell late Wednesday. The Seminoles began voluntary workouts, so they're going to boycott. Look, dude, I know you think you're the coach of the year and your whole team's on your side, but I learned this as a station commander as well. All right, and I've had some big stations, Minneapolis being one of them. Mm-hmm. There's always going to be one or two that'll bust your ass out if you do something not quite right. And if you go out and you tell the media that I'm such a woke coach that I had a one-on-one conversation with all my team members, assuming that good portion of them are black because they're athletes, okay, you better have had that one-on-one conversation because otherwise your ass going to be embarrassed, just like Mike Norvell is being embarrassed right now.
Yeah, he could just keep it 100, man, like he said, and just do the right thing. If you had the conversation, you had. If you didn't, you didn't. But Hey, man, like I said, this
Dude,
is
if you're going to be woke as a white dude and say, hey, I sat down one-on-one with each of my players, and your own player comes out and says, man, this shit did not happen, man. There was no one-on-one talk between us and coach. That's embarrassing. It's a lie, and you should be reprimanded for it, okay? That's like kneeling during the national anthem and then come to find out on your Twitter page you have the Aryan Brotherhood as one of your friends.
I know,
okay?
But that's Florida State football, too.
Who's your team?
Yeah.
Who's your team? Who's your team?
I'm a Midwest dude, man. Fighting the line out, Illinois.
Oh, man, you'll love my other buddy, Tyler, who was on this show, one of my very first episodes.
Big
Dave Adams says, don't worry, he went out with Grandpa before the show. Yes, I had a few drinks with Grandpa before the show. FSU can't catch a break at all. I haven't had a good team in quite a few seasons. Now they got a new coach, and he pulls this. Gotta get rid of the rest. And he pulls this shit. All right. Dude, if you're going to be woke, don't be fake woke, okay? Now, here's the other type that I hate. I had a big segment on my show last night. Please, for the love of God, do not throw your kids to any old college because they will liberalize them. They will talk them out of any Christianity. They will try to teach them how to be good liberals for the rest of their life, and it's a horrible thing. We were talking about UC San Diego yesterday. The student union was calling on them to just say, give everybody a passing grade because they can't handle the stress of all that's going on. They should just all get a passing grade, which is obviously nonsense because college has to stay accredited. You couldn't just give out passing grades to everybody. They would lose their accreditation and their prestigiousness, the whole reason why you chose to go to that college. Now we got a UCLA professor. People have no choice but to riot. Okay, UCLA professor Robin Kelly suggested this week that black Americans have no choice but to riot in the aftermath. No, that's wrong freaking answer. Okay, rioting is not the answer. Yes, it will get you more short-term attention, but another person brought up to me, at least 30% or 40% of white people had to vote for President Obama in order for him to get elected, right? People think, oh, man, it was just the black and brown people that got him elected. No, at least 40% of the white people had to join that vote in order to get the first black president. In order for real change to happen, we need black, brown, white, Asian, everybody. If you want to ruin your cause, yes, you will get immediate attention with burning people's private businesses down. But if you want to keep a long-term cause going, you don't burn down mom and pop shops because eventually sob stories are going to come out of people of color who own businesses who's lost their livelihood. For instance, I saw a person who had a pharmacy, took 14 years. They said that it took 14 years to build up that pharmacy to be profitable. And it's gone in the matter of 5 minutes. It got looted and destroyed. That's a sad, sad thing.
Yeah, I talked to my brother today. Not all the news is accurate. I talked to my brother today in Chicago, and he was driving through the city. Most of the black businesses in Chicago didn't even get burned down. Like, for example, the Nation of Islam on Blackstone Street, on 79th. Not even on 79th, it's on Blackstone, but it's a big, mosque there. And there was some businesses that was right next to it. They didn't touch it, spray paint it.
That's because the Nation of Islam's out there, and they wouldn't allow that. I don't like the Nation of Islam, but they do protect black communities.
Yeah, they wasn't. And I said the same thing. I was like, man, bro, the FOIs was out there. He said they didn't post none of their people out there.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I'm very surprised. I don't like the Nation of Islam just because they do hate white people. They call us the white devil, and I think that's disrespectful, and that's not a way to heal. Shout out to 79th and Halstead, who took on the Dayton family, old Flint rap group, but the Vicky Lou's, they call them. All right, we're not getting in that here. Yeah. Hey, you know how they always wanted to defund police, those liberals, and defund ICE? Well, look at this. While all this stuff was happening, a deported child rapist was arrested after illegally crossing border into Texas. Del Rio Sector Border Patrol agents arrested a previously deported child rapist after he illegally re-entered the United States. He was caught. They did a biometric because everybody who gets caught and deported, they get a biometric scan. Did a background check on him. Now he's facing up to 20 years in prison for illegally re-entering our country. And apparently he didn't show up to other court cases, so I'm sure he has some time there. Kudos to the Border Patrol and the ICE agents that are out there working hard. I know the Democrats have demonized you, but you are law enforcement just like everybody else. You are keeping drugs and terrorism out of the country, as well as convicted rapists, child rapists out of our country. Kudos to them.
Yeah, shout out to the Border Patrol. It's a tough job.
It is a tough job, and they're underappreciated thanks to the Democrat Party. Yes, I'm calling them out because they're the ones that really demonize them for doing a very tough job for a lot less pay than a lot of these inner city cops make. Very tough job. All right. Oh, here's a hypocrisy alert. Okay. This just pisses me off. Now, the only reason it pisses me off is not because we have marches going on now or marches a few weeks ago under the lockdown. Remember, we had that big thing in Michigan and we were, laughing about it. Our body, our choice. If we want to go out and get sick, it's our business, right? It's called freedom. Right. So, but all these Democrats, man, they were all like, oh, how dare you go out and march? You're going to go back and spread it to Granny and she's going to die. You're selfish. Called business owners that wanted to open up cowardly for reopening and all that stuff. Fought, barbers and all that other stuff. This is Pennsylvania Governor Tom Wolf, and also the governor of Michigan, Gretchen Whitmer. Both of them been out protesting with the riots, okay? Or with the protesters. Guess what? That's hypocritical. Not because it's bad that you're protesting, but if one protest isn't good, why is the other okay for you? Now, as a conservative, I believe anybody should be able to protest even during a pandemic because guess what? It's your right. If you want to go out and get sick, it's your right. But don't sit there and blast one and then join the other. Okay? So, Pennsylvania Governor Tom Wolf marches with protesters after slamming business owners as cowardly and selfish for reopening and for people protesting just a couple weeks ago. Pennsylvania Governor Tom Wolf, Democrat, joined a large gathering of protesters. I don't see any social distancing going on there, Mr. Wolf, Governor Wolf. Just weeks after slamming local leaders and business owners as cowardly, quote unquote, for moving to reopen the counties and businesses outside of the far-reaching lockdown orders. Democrats, it was just like yesterday I showed on the show. All the nurses down there in their PPE. First of all, that's a show. You don't have to wear your personal protective equipment outside, but they're out there. They weren't socially distanced. And just 2 weeks ago, they called people. They were like, stay home, stay safe, do not infect grandma. And I can't believe it. I'm an essential worker and I have to go out there. But yet they sat there and said nothing about thousands and thousands of people. In fact, let me show you the screen. Right now, thousands and thousands of people, most of whom do not have masks on. Many do, but many don't. And they're all within 6 feet of each other, touching each other, high-fiving each other. Guess what? You're spreading the disease. So, either one, they were lying about how dangerous the disease was, which I think they were. Or, we'll say they're hypocrites. Or they're not really that scared. They just didn't want to be embarrassed by business opening and protests going on. What would you choose?
Man, I don't know right now. I think when the first disease first came out, we didn't have enough information on it, so everybody was just choosing the most precaution as possible.
That's fine. Then why aren't all the states open then?
Because some people are still leery about, the effects of the disease and all that. So that's just my only professional opinion that I could give you.
Yep, keep playing your devil's advocate because I'm loving it because I'm about to come in for the strike.
One more thing.
Sure.
Besides that, and the people that's out there protesting, they don't give a damn about, the coronavirus. They don't. If they stand in front of guns and bullets and law enforcement and National Guard, that could one of those guys.
Could that be why in the more liberal areas or the people of color areas where they say, oh, this is disproportionately affecting it, and it's because of systemic racism? Before these riots, before the protests, before the cop doing his stupid thing, they were saying, oh, well, it's, Democrats are coming out saying it's a systemic injustice that black people are catching this more and brown people are catching this more and they're dying from it more than white people. Maybe it's because of what you just said. They don't care as much. They're not as scared about it as white people are. And so they're not really that concerned about social distancing. What say you?
Yeah, well, the reason why I would say that is the media is going to say what they want to say. But I can tell you right here in Florida, it's mostly white people here, and they was moving around at the beach and walking around, and I go out with my mask on. They act like they was moving around down here like it was normal.
Right.
But I would say even when this was going on, I would talk to my family and be like, with the African Americans, like, man, y'all need to watch who y'all be around. Don't be social distance party because we don't know what's going on and you could be ill. But people gonna do what the hell they want to do.
All right, so let me ask you: in the next 2 weeks, when COVID spikes in these minority communities, are they going to correctly attribute it to these protests, or are they going to say, "Oh, it's systemic racism again"?
hopefully it doesn't spike, but
Hopefully it doesn't
it'll
spike.
prob-
Yeah, I pray to
yeah,
God
yeah,
it
yeah.
doesn't. Yes.
Yeah. It'll be probably be a combination of a lot of things. It'll be from the protests. It'll be from uh man, a lot of different
My
things.
point is that America, if you're watching this, the 1,000 or 2,000 or 3,000 that watch this on a daily night over the next 24 hours, when you hear the media come out in 2 weeks and say, oh, systemic racism is because they're getting sick, no, it's because everybody's out protesting, which is a fine thing. In fact, I hope every young person gets sick and gets over it. Why? Because we all get immune to it. You know?
Yeah,
I
feel you.
think, honestly, that it's okay. But now, here's my next question. If people can be out in groups like this of 20, 30, 45, 50,000 people, in many cases across the country, should we go ahead and just restart sports and stadiums and stuff so we can have our football back?
I mean, I feel you, but that's up to the owners of those leagues and stuff like that.
I'm
They
saying if you
definitely
were in
don't.
charge of the world, would you, hey, you know what?
Uh,
Let's have rallies. I mean, if you look down here in Los
uh,
Angeles, they're
No, because look, all it takes. Look, check this out. If you run an organization like the NBA, NFL, and you invite these fans into your building, it's up to you to make sure that they're safe and they're protected. If one of them gets sick and go home, and if one death happens, then that owner or that league is responsible for that. So,
well, that's an easy fix. We can absolve them with just a simple congressional thing that you can make them unsuable for COVID-19. We did that with guns. We do it all the time. After 9/11, we absolved the airline industry of any liabilities that they couldn't be sued. Now,
but okay, hold on. And I got you on that.
should
I
you be
agree
given
with
that
you.
choice?
I want sports back too. But you gotta look at the risk versus reward if you're an owner or something like that, because the owners know if they do that, then they're gonna limit their fans, and is it really worth opening up their stadiums? They're gonna lose money. So, and it's all about money at the end of the day for those guys.
True,
So,
true enough. But final question. And Amber has the same one. Do you think that they're going to use this as an excuse now to lock us all back down again so that they can get mail-in voting?
we'll see.
Hey, by the way, another sign of liberalism is if you sit crisscross applesauce as an adult, you're a liberal. Indian styles they used to say as a kid, now they say crisscross applesauce because that's offensive. We used to have to sit with our legs crossed over each other.
Yeah,
Just
I
saying.
hope I mean, I ain't flexible like that to be sitting on crisscross.
Neither am I, man. And you know what? I'm a
as
dude.
a grown man.
I'm a dude, man. That actually literally hurts my lower back and my balls, man.
Shit.
I don't want my balls on pavement. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
All right, moving
I
on, because everybody else is like, what the heck?
I know. Nightcaps with Nate, baby.
Hey, that's why it's a
Let's go.
nightcap. It's a drinking show. Okay, here is I think my final story. No, two more stories. This one pisses me off too. The toy maker from Denmark, I think they're Danish. The Danish toy maker Lego has asked retailers to pull some play figures from store shelves in response to the death of George Floyd, including all police figures and accessories, firefighters and accessories, and even any Legos have to do with the White House. How this right here, I know about PC culture is canceling like Drew Brees and everybody else, but now we're canceling toys of the White House? Are you serious? Is it that much of a trigger for you snowflakes that you can't let your kids see pictures of police officers? Like Kareem said, his kid wanted to be a cop, probably had fake handcuffs and all that stuff. Now we can't even have police uniforms and stuff because it might hurt you. That is the stupidest, most retarded thing. We are raising excuse me for saying retarded. I know some people have special needs kids. It's just an old saying. Take it out of my vocabulary. That is the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. If you are that butthurt over that, we are raising a generation of wusses. And in Iran, China, and Russia, they're going to kick our asses later on in life because we have a bunch of snowflakes who get triggered with anxiety because they saw a Lego land of freaking the White House or police officers or firefighters. And by the way, when have firefighters ever been accused of racism? Why are they pulling firefighters? They've done nothing wrong. They run to fires. They don't care if you're an Asian building or brown building. That's their whole job. They run to fires. Go ahead.
Accusing firefighters of racism?
I don't know. It's just absolutely stupid, man. Toy maker Lego. I'm going to boycott Lego. Let me go back and see Lego. There you go. Toy maker Lego asked retailers to pull police, firefighters, White House figures from shelves.
Hey, this show tonight. I'm just here just to listen to you vent, man.
I'm betting, bro. You know why? Because I got the next over week off. So I'm just gonna go wild on it, man. I'm just saying.
Go wild. I'm just gonna listen to you, America. I'm just gonna listen to my boy Nate vent, man.
Hey, you know what? Because if I say something stupid, within a week they'll forget I even said it. Right? By the time I get back.
This is. They could press rewind on this many times.
This is the dumbest shit I ever seen, and this is part and parcel to the liberal culture, man. Oh, I don't want to offend Johnny. That's just like Bear. Alicia Silverstone, last night I had on the show, she has this long-haired kid, Bear, turning him into a little girl. He's 9 years old, and she's still bathing with him, like butt naked. Now, I don't mind if I'll play to be Bear to bathe naked with Alicia Silverstone. Hopefully my wife doesn't get mad, but Bear is a 9-year-old little boy having to bathe with his mother. Did you bathe with your mom at 9? Butt naked?
Hell no.
Hell no.
At 9 years old.
9 years old.
Independent. I was washing dishes, washing clothes, washing my own ass.
Apparently, Bear doesn't. This reminds me, have you ever seen Grown Ups? It had Chris Rock in it and Adam Sandler and all that.
I think I'm familiar with it a little bit.
And the little boy, he's like 4 years old, and he walks up and asks to suck on mommy's boo-boo milk.
Now, I have seen that before.
And they're like, how old is he? He's 48 months. 48 months? That's 4 years old, right?
I have seen that. A lot of South American countries. I don't know if South America.
Nah, nobody breastfeeds, but I bet you Bears in the bathtub sucking on mom's boo-boo. It's absolutely disgusting how we're raising our kids, especially white America. We are raising, and even Asian Americans, we are raising a bunch of wusses. Knock it off. We have to raise warriors and men to lead their homes and to be fathers and stuff. No wonder kids won't even commit to marriage now, ever, maybe at 40 years old, if ever. Because they never had to commit to anything in their life. They never learned responsibility. I had a buddy, and he lived at home till past 39 years old. 39, lived in his dad's basement. Or in a bedroom. Bro, raise your kids.
Let it out, man. Let it out, Nate.
Raise your freaking kids to be men of their homes, man. Born again, on fire Christian men of their homes. All right? Now, here is one final story for you all. On the anniversary of Tiananmen Square, remember, Hong Kong is losing its independence now. China is taking over, even though they have a treaty, 2047. We need to stand up to them. I think all the Asian countries should all just unite and create their own little NATO against China because they're too powerful. But now, Hong Kong has criminalized insulting the Chinese anthem, even though it's the 31st anniversary of Chinese troops opening fire on the Tiananmen Square. If you're old enough to remember, the kid almost got ran over by a tank or something. Hong Kong also passed a law Thursday that criminalized the insulting of China's national anthem amid chaotic scenes in the territory's legislature. The law passed after 3 readings, making it illegal to insult the, quote, March of the Volunteers, unquote, anthem. Booing, changing the lyrics, or disrespecting the song is now punishable with up to 3 years in prison or fines equal to $64.50. Hey, $6,450 US. I'm against... Personally, I will not kneel for the national anthem because I was a soldier. I'll put my hand over the heart and all that stuff. But if somebody chooses to kneel during the national anthem, under this law, they would go to prison for 3 years. I disagree with that. It's called free speech. And right. China is getting too much into Hong Kong. First of all, Hong Kong grew rich the way it is because it became the one stable part of China where there is actually freedom. And if China takes away that freedom, all they're doing is ruin their own country. I think most of the world is going to get sick of China and start pulling their manufacturing out, pulling their business out and saying, hey man, you guys were supposed to be moving towards democracy. Now you're moving away from it. Under that guy that looks like Winnie the Pooh, President Xi Jinping. He does. Did you know?
I ain't seen you this turned up since back in Minneapolis days, man.
I guess so. But did you know that they actually banned Winnie the Pooh in China because people were making caricatures of the president who looks kind of like a Chinese version, an Asian version of Winnie the Pooh? Mm-hmm. You didn't see that? Oh man, that's hilarious, man.
That's some gangster shit right there.
But
Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah, so Winnie the Pooh and any cartoon or any drawing is illegal in China. Bottom line, That's how we're moving, America. We don't get liberalism under control and allow other people to have different opinions without canceling them out. We're going to be like China. And that goes for the right, too. On the right-hand side, where you start chasing people down for burning the flag, they have a right to burn the flag. I don't like it. I hate it. But you don't have a right to stop them from doing their exercise of free speech. Just like if Drew Brees does not want to take a knee and he wants to stand up, he has the right to do it too, America. So let's get it together. Quit being wusses. Let's learn that we are all different in different ways. I have liberal friends and family members. I think they're misguided, but they think I'm misguided, but we both have the right to believe what we want to believe.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, this show tonight brought to you by, not really brought to you by, but our official clothing maker is hood-samaritan.com. Support a black-owned Christian business, Second Amendment business, and get your thing. He also has stuff I can't breathe in the spirit of these peaceful protesting. Hashtag I can't breathe. He's got all types of stuff. Hood-samaritan.com. Also, you can find him on Instagram, or you can privately message me, and I will put you in touch with our man, Kareem. Thanks for being on tonight, buddy.
Hey, man, I appreciate you having me on tonight. I know I wasn't much of a co-host tonight.
No, you're fine. You're the one that's pushing me along.
Tonight was more about you, man. Go ahead.
Let it go. Let's let it out.
That's a perfect way to go on vacation, what you did tonight. Get it out your system and then go enjoy your vacation.
Amber says, any news on North Korea? Did Kim die? No. Kim Jong-un, as we know, is still alive. That we think. In fact, in South Korea was floating these 500,000 balloons over the border. And so they would pop, and then they would have like these leaflets talking against North Korea. And Kim Jong-un's sister, Jong something, said, hey, knock that off or we're going to cancel any relations with you. And so South Korea is actually censoring its own citizens. That's a whole nother story. We are not on tomorrow. We are not on anytime next week because I will be on vacation. So we will be back. Let's see here. On Monday, June 15th. All next week we are off. Hopefully, if you want to watch recaps of Nightcaps and Nate, you can go to our YouTube channel. But besides that, thank you for being a loyal fan. Make sure that you spread the word. We will see you.
This has been Nightcaps with Nate. Please join Nate for a nightcap every weeknight at 9 Eastern here on Facebook Live.
Peace.